older roller coasters tend to be the roughest roller coasters. But what if I told you that modern roller coasters may be getting even more rough? After the opening of Six Flags Great America's new roller coaster, I noticed a slight shuffle. And this isn't just one ride from this company. This can be found on many of their new rides just in this past year. Why is this? I'll be looking at Swiss manufacturer B&M's latest work. The SeaWorld parks would call the Swiss manufacturer B&M to build their newest family roller coasters. Although both are different ride models, they have very similar ride experiences. A lot of people began hating both instantly for being rough rides. And while I think both of these reviews are critical, does the roughness still apply to their larger new rides? I'll be looking at their new roller coaster, Wrath of Rakshasa. Firstly, I'd like to address this new roller coaster's excellent theming. Six Flags really outdid themselves, fitting perfectly into the park, not only with the presentation on the midway, but also the strategic placement next to Demon. Rakshasa is a Hindu race that embodies malevolence. With both having an evil theme, it's a win for Six Flags and very well executed. The area around the ride looks great and a lot more modern. Plus, Six Flags continues to exceed my expectations even before boarding the trains. Within the station, the bin use a very unique technology that isn't seen on many roller coasters. The biggest pro of Wrath of Rakshasa is the vision put into the ride. Six Flags had a vision and didn't aimlessly place the ride in an open plot of land like the B&Ms that are added to the Six Flags parks. But how about the ride itself? As I ascended up the lift hill, I knew I was in for something different. The B&M feeling was there, but something really did just feel different. The ride's lift already didn't feel like the traditional dives. Instead of taking the slow steep climb that SheiKra starts the ride off with, Wrath of Rakshasa begins with a very fast chain lift. This allows for less time to take in the views, but once you reach the top of the lift, you get an amazing view. Max Force and Raging Bull are next door, and the ride dominates over every other attraction in the park. I was amazed by how great the view at the top was. Especially seated in the front, there's plenty of time to enjoy the park's skyline before plummeting back to the ground from 180 feet in the air. This drop is not like the other dive roller coasters because it's taken at a 96-degree angle at 67 miles per hour. And when journeying the 3,239 feet of track, there are 5 inversions, all with a different feel. In my opinion, the inversions are the best part of the ride, and it's clear why. With 7 across seating, the roller coaster is slightly different from their old ride model. The 8 across seating tends to have a different ride experience. Looking at a ride like SheiKra located at Busch Gardens in Tampa, the ride is less focused on the ride layout, but rather the 2 vertical drops after showcasing the impressive heights. And then you look at another ride with 7 across seating like Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas. It features a very similar feel. Both trains have the vests, the drops are beyond vertical, and even the theme feels similar. To me, the ride is the only clear comparison to Wrath of Rakshasa that I've experienced. So, with those other dive roller coasters, how does Wrath of Rakshasa rank? Well, I really do love the beyond vertical drops featured on the newer dives. I give the slight edge to SheiKra. On an end seat in the back, those restraints allow for some great airtime. While Wrath of Rakshasa has an impressive drop, I think the restraints are restrictive to the experience it could offer. I still love dive roller coaster drops, but I appreciate the older rides of the models drops better. Now, how about the rest of the ride layout? The ride is very inversion focused, which is unlike the other dive roller coasters. And while SheiKra has the better drop, The layout is much weaker compared to the modern rides of the coaster model, although I much prefer the ride layout of Dr. Diabolical's Cliffhanger. While that dive is still inversion focused, the ride layout is much more dynamic of the three. After that beyond vertical drop, there's great inversions, a mid-course drop, and even airtime. I prefer a ride that has a layout with everything rather than just a focus on one element like a first drop. Wrath of Rakshasa still has a very strong layout, but it seems to solely focus on the inversions. I'd rank it somewhere in the middle of those three dive coasters. But where does it rank in the Six Flags Great America roller coaster collection? In terms of the other rides in the park, putting this dive machine up against so many great roller coasters was difficult. It definitely took some thought and consideration. I'd put it below rides like Raging Bull, Goliath, Max Force, Viper, and even Batman the Ride. I think the ride layout is more diverse than rides like X-Flight and also Superman the Ride. In my opinion, I think both of these rides are built around their inversions. Wrath of Rakshasa is similar. However, the first drop differentiates it from those two roller coasters. And I think the ride was a perfect fit for the park and complemented the ride collection very well. But let's get back to the pending issue with modern B&Ms. There's no hiding that B&M's new rides have had an issue. A common complaint has been about the same issue among coaster enthusiasts. The main issue is that slight rattle. Honestly, it's nothing too serious and it doesn't get in the way of the ride experience. But why all the complaints? I believe that since these attractions are so new and having these problems makes it concerning. Modern rides should be glossy smooth. If you look at new rides from other roller coaster manufacturers, they are butter smooth with little to no imperfections in the track. Despite the issue not interfering with the roller coaster, it shouldn't be a big problem. Some roller coasters from decades ago like Montu from the same manufacturer, B&M, are glossy smooth with no shuffle, and then 100 feet away, a ride built in 2024 has a shaky ride. It's not anything the general public will notice, but a roller coaster enthusiast will probably notice it. While I don't have a problem with the rattle, I think this trend is somewhat concerning and makes me think about the future of the company. Will more of their rides be similar, or will they fix this issue? Time will only tell if the future of B&M rides will change or remain making rides with the same issues.